Hi, Ron Legrand here. Before we get started with the podcast, I thought you might want to know that I recently recorded a 90-minute online training about how we make so much money today in the terms business. That's on pretty houses in pretty neighborhoods, not the junk houses that we have to go rehab or wholesale. I go through step by step on exactly what I and thousands of my students are doing right now to make the fastest and the easiest money in real estate without using your money or credit. If you're interested in doing just that, go to thementorpodcast.com/free training. See you there.
Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron Legrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Hello, everybody. Ron Legrand here with the part 3 of the Mentor Podcast with Pace Mobley and Jamil Damji from Triple Digit Flip. This is the last edition of these 3 great interviews I've done with these guys, and I'm telling you, I'm excited just listening to them. So here we go. Well, guys, you guys are a pleasure to talk to. Are we got questions for these guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take care of those first.
You know what, Ron? The biggest question I'm seeing is the TV show. They want to know exactly what's the name of the TV show. Where did they see it? How can we watch this show?
Okay, tell them, guys.
Name
the TV show.
I've
got these allergies in Houston. They've been killing me. Gosh.
We are on A&E Networks, big network television group, and owned by Disney. Jamil and I Jamil, believe that or not, Jamil and I work for Disney. It is very cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we work for Disney. So A&E, you can find us on A&E's website. You can find us on cable on A&E, or you can find us on Hulu and Amazon. I never thought I'd ever say that you can find our show streamed on Hulu and Amazon.
All right, it's called Triple Digit Flip.
Digit Flip.
Triple Digit Flip. Just go record it. Go record it, and then you won't have to worry about when it's on. All right, and it plays. Is it airing right now?
We got reruns of season 1 airing right now, and season 2 will air in October.
Oh, it starts in October. All right. Okay, there you have it. And if you're going to watch any reality shows, this would be the one. All right, next question.
Teresa asks, what is the name of Jamil's wholesale franchise?
Keegley. It's spelled Keygle.
Keegley.
Yes, sir.
That's cute. That's cute, Jamil. You come.
I appreciate you said that. Thank you, Ron. I thought it was cute. That was the one word I used to describe the name. So we're on the same page. Thank you.
Okay.
Christina asks, does Pace have a training company?
I have a training company. It's called sub2.com. But here's the thing. You guys are looking at the legend right here, Ron Legrand. Okay? He's the man. Don't worry about me. I learned from Ron. You guys should learn from Ron too.
Thank you for that. I'll send you the check later.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Ron,
be on the lookout for it, will you?
Ron, you always say these reality shows are not real. How do you feel now?
Well, this one is. That's the point that I wanted to make, because I knew it before these guys came on here, because I knew these guys. By the way, we're in a mastermind group together, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Which we have to pay for to go to 2 meetings a year.
Right.
A number that some people would say, "Holy crap!" You know, and I promise you, I've never been to one of those meetings where it didn't pay 10 times more than what the whole thing cost.
Great job.
And so we probably ought to make a point about mastermind groups. And because they are a key to a lot of people's success, and including mine. I've been in a mastermind group since 1997 when I started with Dan Kennedy way back then. And that man's probably made me more money than other human being alive, because he taught me about marketing, which I learned from his mastermind groups and from his training. And, mentoring is, I know both of you guys have been mentored by others, and so have I. So such an important degree. We can't do this alone, can we? We need help, especially to get to the point to where you guys are. You're a good example of guys who have built your businesses and not have to be a slave to them every single day.
Yeah.
Which I'm constantly preaching. Get out of your own way. The enemy is here. It is us. And we have to let other people do. And in fact, I often tell people, see if you agree with me, that there's not one thing that you do in your business that you can't get somebody else to do.
Right.
If you'll let them. And you're good examples of that. You guys are working 50 hours a week on this show. That's hard for me to believe. Golly.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we have responsibilities of 1,000-person enterprise.
Yeah, which other people run for you because they can't do that.
Yeah.
All right, next question, John.
Susanna wants to know how she can learn more about this depreciation thing you guys have been talking about.
Well, you're looking at the red, white, and blue guy right on the screen right now. This guy teaches depreciation like nobody's business. So I just keep learning from Ron.
Yeah. Well, let me give it to you real quick. Get out your pencil. In the single family house business, you get to depreciate a property for 27 and a half years. So it's very simple. You take your purchase price, and you have to purchase it incidentally, and it matters not how you purchase it. You take your purchase price and you subtract the land value. I always tell everybody to take 10% of the purchase price and call it land. So if you had a $500,000 purchase, you got a $450,000 basis. You divide that by 27 and a half, and you got approximately $20,000 a year that you can write off just because you own that property. Does not matter how you buy it. Now, if you're in a 25% bracket, that means $5,000 a year stays in your pocket that you do not have to send to the IRS just because you own that property, even if you got the property for free, like we do many times with, get them for nothing down, like 2 of them we did yesterday. So now multiply that times dozens or hundreds of houses, and you can see why Pace doesn't pay income taxes. In fact, you can see why many billionaires don't pay income taxes, which most people don't understand. They just take advantage of the tax laws the way they are, and depreciation is one of those big write-offs. In the case of commercial, it's 40 years, but in the case of single-family house, it's 27 and a half years. And now you heard Pace talk about cost segregation. So when you're buying a building, it won't work on a house, but when you're buying a building, they cut it up into smaller pieces and depreciate that over 3 or 4 or 5 years, which increases the depreciation, which lowers your taxes. It's really that simple. At least I think it's simple. I think all this stuff is simple. Actually, I understand all this stuff. I don't understand why you guys have so much trouble with it. All right. Do you have any more questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Rich wants to know, how do you find most of the properties for the show?
Jamil's
Great question.
franchise.
Yep, our Keegley franchises are where we're getting the deals from, and they come from a variety of sources. We do some agent relationship deals, so some of our deals will come from agents, some come from wholesalers, some come from being out in the world, door knocking, driving for dollars, just looking for pain points, providing solutions, getting the deals under contract, and then they become a property on the show.
Yeah. In your case, Jamil, you work on all the lower end properties, which is where you're going to find your best deals that need rehab, right?
For the most part, yes. Yep.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Pace? Where do you get all your deals from?
We go direct to seller. We cold call and we text message. That's it. We keep it really simple. We've tried everything else. We've done billboards, TV, radio. We've done direct mail. It's expensive. Our cost contract on cold calling and text messaging sellers that are in distress is the lowest cost per lead that we found. And so that's where we double down on our lead gen.
So when you say cold calling, you rent a list of homeowners and just have someone call them and find out if they have a house for sale.
Right. We use a company called startvirtual.com to do all of our cold calls for us. So, because I don't want to do cold calls.
Oh, heck no.
Absolutely not. It'll drive you wild. So startvirtual.com does all of our cold calls. We give them a list of people foreclosure, high equity. What we have found is you
have to pick the list.
You do have to pick the list. You pick the list, you give it to them, and then they've got the scripts and the training, and they do all that, and they basically just tee up appointments for us to talk to sellers that are motivated.
Okay. Do you have any idea what it's costing you per call or per lead that they send you?
I don't know what my cost per lead is. I know what my cost per contract is. My cost per contract is about $1,200. So that's with my lead list. That's with my skip tracing. That's with the person actually calling. That's everything combined. Every $1,200 I spend, I get a contract.
Okay. And how many sellers do you have to call to get a deal on the average?
The dialer will have to dial about 1,000 calls to get a contract.
No. How many leads once they get
50.
leads?
50 people that say, "Hey, I'm interested." We get 50 people. Out of 50 of them, one of them turns into a cash deal. And out of those 50, we get one that turns into a creative finance deal, subject to seller
So you get
finance.
2 out of 50.
2 out of 50.
2 out of 50. Because the list you're calling is not necessarily motivated.
Nope.
They're just sellers who have a house for sale. And
Right.
sometimes they don't even know it's for sale until they're asked if they want to sell it, right? Okay.
Right.
So I'm guessing that the cash deals you get are on properties that need a lot of work. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Houses that
Okay.
a realtor would never want to list on the MLS.
All right. So if you're getting 50 leads to get 2 deals, that's 1 out of 25.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the math here. So it's costing you $1,200 to get. Never mind. That's too much for me to do in my head. But your cost per lead is very, very close and relevant to anybody else's that's actually paying for these leads. So your system is they generate the leads for you, and then you have somebody calling the leads, doing the closing calls.
Yep. I used to do it.
Yeah.
When I first started, just like you, Ron, I used to go out to the appointments, take my kids, take my wife and close the deals myself. And then we scaled out of that. And now we have people that do that for us.
How long did it take you to figure out that somebody could do that besides you?
Way longer than I should have.
It took me about 10 years.
Yeah. It took me about 2 years. It took me 2 years.
Yeah.
And I still do it. I still do it when there's a really challenging creative finance deal that somebody on my team that can't structure. And I enjoy doing it. And so it's one of those few things that I'll do once a quarter where I'll go on an appointment, and it gives me that life again of like, man, I miss this part of the business.
Yeah. Me too, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Me too. And like Jamil, he hit on a point that most people probably miss. Okay. You've created a hub. You are the hub. All your franchisees are the spokes around the hub, and everything revolves around that hub. And as it turns out, your franchisees are actually field agents for you. In other words, you have your team go out and find deals for you. I kind of do the same thing because I partner with my students if they're in our mentoring program, and I put up the money if I need to. So really, they're just a bunch of bird dogs bringing me in deals. It's
and everyone's making money off it. It's great.
Correct. Why wouldn't I want them to go bring me deals? Of course I do. More deals, the better. So I'm always looking for them that way. And frankly, that's a big deal for a lot of people trying to get started, because they just got to get through that first deal and get that first check. Because
that's a good thing, Ron. The first 100 deals I did, I wholesaled the majority of those to Keegley, and to this day, I get messages on my Instagram that are Jamil and I just got a contract. I got a contract in my Instagram direct messages. I said, "Yep, send me the contract at 210," and I'm doing that deal with Jamil at Keegley. So Keegley doesn't just utilize their franchisees. They have people like me that are like, I want to deal with finding the buyer. You deal with finding the buyer. Let's collaborate on the deal. And here we are, 7 years in the business, done 1,000 transactions together. And it's so easy just to let Jamil take care of those things, and we both make good money. It's great.
Yeah, well, your whole relationship is great. In fact, you have a very unusual partnership, whether you know it or not. Because partnerships between two people that work, especially doing the similar stuff, usually don't last very long.
Right.
So you are an example of one that is not the case. I've broken up a lot of partnerships, whether you know it or not, by simply asking one of them, what do you need him or her for? And they don't really have a good answer. And figured out pretty soon that they really didn't need them.
We do the same thing all the time. People come to us with, my cousin, my brother, my aunt, my this, my that, and we go, what do you need them for? Right. And they don't have an answer.
They don't have an answer. Now, of course, if one's putting up the money and one's doing the work, it's a different story. But that's that's
a JV.
Unit.
That's a JV, not a partnership.
That's exactly right. Couldn't have put it better myself. Okay, got more questions for him, John?
Alan asks, when will we see Ron as a guest on
our audience would lose.
Hey, that's a good question. That's a good question. Why the hell are you not on the show? Well, get me on there then.
You'll be on there.
Influence A&E, man. I might even have to put on some makeup or something by going to that show, won't I? Did it make you guys up when you go on the show?
No. We'll text Debbie. We'll get Debbie to get you on the show.
Okay. All right. You do that. I might even. No, I'm not going to dye my hair. I earned this gray hair. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, you look good.
All right.
Michael says, how do we learn about being a private lender for Jamil and Pace?
That's a great question. If you guys want to be a private lender for us, we don't really need private lenders on single family homes anymore. We've got enough capital and enough partners there. Really what we're looking for is private, we're not looking for lenders. We're looking for partners on multifamily, big commercial deals. So if you guys are looking to invest in those types of things.
Equity investors into a private placement memorandum to raise the equity.
Right. So you'll be a partner. You'll be a partner with us. You'll be an owner. You'll get a portion of the depreciation. You'll get a portion of the growth, the cash flow, et cetera. Instead of just when you're a private money lender, you typically just get simple interest. So we're not really doing that anymore. We've kind of upgraded beyond that. So if you guys want to connect with us on that, send me an email, pacejmorby@me.com.
All right. You can also send me an email because I happen to have a couple of deals right now that I'm working with students that we need private money on as well. Because they kind of rely on me to go find them the private money or put up.
And there you go. But don't email me then.
Why not? Maybe they like your deal better than they do mine.
Well, I don't have opportunities for single family stuff right now. So for them, it's a better fit.
Well, I have a couple. So email me at tish at legrandprojects.com. Tish at legrandprojects.com, and she'll get it to me, and I'll call you myself. Okay.
How did Jamil compensate the real estate agents for distressed properties he picked up?
Great question, Steve. So we can compensate our agents in a number of ways, but my favorite way is by allowing the agent to participate in our upside. And here's how we do it. So once I've established a relationship with a realtor and we've done a couple of deals together, typically they want to know, Jamil, what are you doing? How are you making money? And I have the conversation with them. Well, you sold me this house and you made 3%. Yes. And your 3% for this $200,000 house was $6,000, right? Yep. Okay. How did that feel? You like that? Was that a good amount of money for you? It was okay. All right. Well, what if I could tell you that I made $40,000 on that deal? And if you brought me more opportunities, instead of you making $6,000, I'll split my 40 with you. Your job is to just bring me more of these opportunities. And how you do that is by going off and having more conversations with more realtors that are in your office, that you're friends with, that you're connected with, and asking them for their cruddy houses that they don't want to sell and bring them to me. And
with that kind of deal, you top at the list for sure.
I'm 100% at the top of the list, and that's how I'm compensating them. So typically how my agents structure the deal, they don't represent the seller. So they go to a seller and they say, Mr. Seller, Miss Seller, you don't need to pay me a commission. My buyer will pay my commission. I'm going to provide you a net cash offer. This is going to be buyer pay all closing costs, all real estate commissions. You're going to be on the hook for your own taxes and fees or whatever your mortgage is, but my buyer will give you a net cash offer and they will pay my commission. And so a seller is typically very enticed by that. And we give them a cash offer. The agent then participates with me after I wholesale the deal. So if I've made $40,000 on it, I cut them a check for $20,000, and then I get 10 more opportunities right behind it.
Is that what you teach your franchisees to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can see why that puts them at the top of the ladder. In reality, you might give up half the profits, but you'll make 3-4 times as many deals that way as well. So
absolutely,
it all wash. And then, of course, when you get the mindset where you're actually going to keep many of these deals, everything will change. And just say it, Jamil.
You're right. I'm not discounting it at all, Ron. In fact, I'm making the evolution myself into holding more so that I can get these tax advantages because I'm tired of writing the IRS checks that big.
I want you to take someone and put them in charge of holding the properties and everything that comes along with that. And I'm telling you, don't renovate them, man. That's the costly entanglement that stretches them out. And I don't care what kind of condition they're in. There's somebody out there that'll lease option them just like they are on the work for equity. And by the way, I've got an agreement already set up for that. If you want to, let us know, because it is a special sweat equity agreement for your information.
I'm going to take your course, Ron, and I want to learn all about it.
Okay. I dare you to come into my course. I dare you. All right.
Don't, anybody, the last guy who dared me to do something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be in Raleigh at the end of the month. Awesome. Of course, you guys are too busy to come to my course. All right. Well, we got more questions, don't we? Because we're running out of time here. Huh? We are. We are out of time. Do we have more questions?
We do, but we're not going to be able to get to all of them. Take one more.
Take one more. Let's go.
Joe asks, what platform do you use for texting?
We use batchleads.io. Batchleads.io.
Batch leads, BATCH leads.io.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a ton of them.
There's
Okay.
honestly too many to choose from. They all work. That's the thing. Whatever Ron's team is using, probably use them. What I find is whoever your mentor is or whoever you're learning from, the most challenging part of a texting platform is just the nuances of where the buttons all are. So whoever you're learning from, just use whatever texting platform they're using because they're kind of all at the end of the day the same.
Yeah, but I need to caution you guys now. There's laws concerning texting people you don't have relationships with. So make sure you're working with somebody that understands that as well.
Correct.
All right, next question. We're going to do it again. Next question. I'm in charge of the time here, and I'm not letting these guys go yet.
Yes, sir. Okay. After you computed your depreciation costs, you write it off as a total one time or over a period of years?
No, over a period of years in the case of real estate. But just for you to know, business equipment right now, you can write it all off in year one. You know, things like airplanes, which is a big reason that I own a plane. I wrote it all off in 1 year. I mean, I actually made money the first year I owned a plane. You guys have a plane?
Not yet, but we're going to get one.
What?
This is our year.
You don't have a plane? We're crying out. Yeah, well.
What kind of plane you got, Ron? You want to sell
I
it?
got a King Air 200, and hell no, I get asked every other day if I want to sell it. Listen, contact me before you buy a plane because I want to put you with an expert. If you don't have somebody working with you when you buy a plane, you're going to get screwed.
Yeah, we've got to
make sure you do that.
I think we have a mutual friend, Steve Harward at Prime Corporate Services, that he owns a jet. We're planning on buying a jet from the same company he bought his from.
Don't do it until you let my guy work with you. He's a Delta pilot. He knows everything you need to know. He'll tell you what to buy, what not to buy. I'm telling you, I've had 7 or 8 planes, and there's no way I'd ever buy one without a real pro working with me. Anyway, off that subject. What's next?
Susanna asks, do I need an LLC to be able to use depreciation?
No. What's next? Questions for these guys? Well,
there's one from Mike Reiger in the comments. That's a really good one.
What is
it? It's a common one that Jamil gets all the time.
If you're wholesaling, Jamil, how are you making $40,000 to split with the realtor?
I just find a buyer who's willing to pay that $40,000 assignment fee for the contract. And so, typically if I'm buying a house, wholesaling is all about selling potential, right? That's all it is. I buy an asset, it's in distress, and I see that there's potential in forcing appreciation in this asset. And I take a bit of that forced appreciation and I keep it before somebody forces it. And that's just it. If I buy a good enough deal, I get a good enough spread, I can take that $40,000 profit off the top, and my fix and flipper still makes a ton of money. And my agent and I can split the $40,000 bounty together.
There's another good one that's a tie into that with Lisa Simmons right above that, a couple inches. If you want to pull that up, it ties into that question right there.
Does your agent help you find a lead or help you find a buyer after providing you with the lead? Not often, Lisa. That the thing about it is you want to create some separation there. Otherwise, your agents get they'll just start wholesaling themselves and they won't need you anymore.
Right. Yeah, you don't need an agent to wholesale a house for crying out loud.
No.
Okay. I promise you, if you can't wholesale a house, you screwed up something big time because I'm an idiot. Because wholesale a house. No offense, Jamil.
No, none taken.
You're just assigning contracts for crying out loud. You'll have that thing gone in a day or two after you put it out there. You put it out on Craigslist, it's gone. All right. And pretty soon you're going to have a big old buyer's list anyway. Like his agents, he is the buyer's list. They just send them to him. You're going to have people wanting the properties very, very quickly. You don't have to worry about even advertising it pretty soon.
And the reality is for an agent too, because I travel around the country. I get to see Jamil text these agents all the time. These agents are completely full-time out there working with sellers, right? They don't have time to go find the buyer. They want to rely on Jamil or a Keegley franchise to find that buyer for them. And so they can go right back to finding the next deal.
Exactly. Jamil, how long does it take you to flip a house and get out of it if you're wholesaling it?
An hour.
Okay, but then how long does it take you to get the money?
7 days to a month sometimes, depending on when the closing date's set.
Yeah. In other words, frankly, if it took a month, I wouldn't take that buyer. I ask them if they want a month to close, they're just going to wholesale my house and flip it. Imagine the audacity of these people.
What I meant is it always depends on what the seller wants for a closing date. That's when we get paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I meant, okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because sometimes these houses take a while to get closed, especially if they're institutionally owned and
Right.
they want to fuss around with them. Okay, so anyway, the point is you're in and out very, very quickly.
Yes, sir.
And you've got people standing in line to buy them.
Yes, sir.
Do you name the price when you sell them, or do you let them bid on it?
No, I don't do a bid thing because I want my buyers to take my price seriously. So I don't want a buyer to start running numbers and then all of a sudden I say to them it's 10,000 more. Then I lose goodwill with them. The price is the price. The first one to say they want it gets it.
Right. So you don't want to do to them what the guy did to you guys when you met each other, right?
Because you want to know the thing, Ron? Neither Pace or I do business with that man anymore.
Right.
Well, I understand. You don't have to do business with anybody, do we?
Yep.
Okay. Well, as much as this pains me, gentlemen, I'm going to have to let you go. I hate to, because I love this conversation. You guys are really great to talk to.
Ron, you're the best. Thank you.
All right. Well, God, I appreciate you guys coming, and looking forward to see you in person, and looking forward to seeing Jamil at one of my boot camps pretty soon. And I'm looking forward to getting on your television show as well, and so forth and so on. All right. Thank you.
We love you, Ron.
You're a hell of an inspiration to our listening audience.
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you. See you.
Have a good day, guys.
That's all for this edition of the Mentor Podcast. To connect with Ron and learn how you can attain financial freedom, as well as up-to-date strategies to grow and protect your wealth based on today's discussion, go to www.connectwiththementor.com.